Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's their time and bandwidth. Today's game is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Ichiban and the turn-based bros return in the biggest Yakuza game yet. Does it fix all the issues with its predecessor? Let's find out. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, aka Yakuza 8, continues the story of Ichiban from the previous game and Kiryu from the franchise as a whole, taking our heroes to a new massive location in Hawaii, as well as back to old favorites in a quest for family. Ichiban and his friends' lives are ruined when a drama VTuber basically slanders them online, causing all their employment opportunities to dry up. Yes, that's the plot. VTubers ruin everything. To get away from it all, Ichiban heads to Hawaii to find his long-lost mother, only to find out she's involved in some massive conspiracy involving every low-life mafia member across Hawaii, because of course. Kiryu also teams up with Ichiban, but the two eventually split up to cover more ground, with Kiryu fielding the Japanese team in Kromorocho, while Ichiban keeps partying in Hawaii. It's a good story with some great new villains and a handful of new party members, and Hawaii in particular is not only a massive area, but a new one aesthetically, with a ton of cool locales from tourist trap beaches to more scuzzy underbellies. Plus, you can dive into the ocean whenever you want, which is the true Hawaii experience. Structurally, this is pretty much the same as Yakuza 7. You have a large map full of mini activities and sub-stories to do, all of which are usually entertaining, and plenty of random encounters to fight in turn-based combat. The combat has seen massive improvements from the previous game, but the biggest is being able to reposition your active characters so your combat skills line up more effectively, as well as stuff like combo attacks, team attacks, and more. The game also has probably two of the biggest mini-games in the franchise. Sujimon, which is essentially stripped-down Pokemon using the game's enemies, and Dondoko Island, which is an Animal Crossing / Stardew Valley knockoff where you can also put your Sujimon to work like Pal World. Hawaii itself is covered in Sujimon raids to capture new ones, trainers to battle, and more, and Dondoko hilariously lets you craft basically any asset from the franchise, all the way to love hotels and toilets to spruce up your island. There's a ton more improvements here, but this review would last forever, so suffice to say this is the biggest Yakuza game yet, still keeping its turn-based combat from the previous games, but tossing you in the usual massive open world with an insane amount of side stuff to do, a huge new area in Hawaii, and a dual protagonist setup to keep things fresh. So what do I like about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? Where there are so many improvements to the combat here, I can't name them all. That repositioning thing is super crucial, and being able to pinball enemies into each other is hilarious. Plus, the game lets you insta-win battles against weaker enemies to save time, and the new job system includes all of the old jobs plus a bunch of new ones, as well as general improvements to equipping and assigning skills to make that ultimate team. Additionally, the side content here is insane. You have Pokemon Snap, actual Pokemon, and a massive Animal Crossing meets theme park minigame. That's on top of all the usual Yakuza stuff like darts and karaoke, and new minigames like DoorDash delivery and an old one like can collecting. There is a ton to do here. And lastly, I feel this was an excellent capstone to Kiryu's story and paired well with Ichiban's story as well. When it comes to the bad, while the pacing is definitely better than Like a Dragon 7, this game certainly suffers from some really drawn out cutscenes and story beats, which I know that's normal for this series, but after the surprisingly well-paced Man Who Erased His Name, the rambling and length of some of these cutscenes really stood out. Additionally, Sujimon is not my favorite. Sorry guys. I have to mention it because it's so woven into much of the game, but the actual battles themselves get tedious pretty quick. Once you hit the later stages, it's basically a big grind. And lastly, I do have to mention Sega's greed. Gating New Game Plus and harder difficulties behind DLC is a scumbag move, considering previous games had it out of the box. And so it's really sad that this fiasco will blemish the game's good reputation, because the game itself does not deserve it. As you know, our games here on a 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Infinite Wealth is a phenomenal JRPG top to bottom. I don't think I can oversell it. The improvements on the previous game's combat make the game much more strategic, the new locations rule, and the dual protagonist setup makes for a wonderful story. So if you're looking for an expansive, engaging, and incredible RPG, you are eating good with Infinite Wealth. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? Have you played the previous games in the series? Please let me know in the comments. This also is the last review in the Yakuza franchise. I managed to play through all of the games in just a couple of months. Don't worry, Judgment games are coming soon. But regardless, let me know what you think about this series in the comments, and then go out there and give Infinite Wealth a look.